And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you enjoyed that lovely Brutal OST as we have returned with the second half of the broadcast. We've returned here with the second half with some more TvT action. We're not done. We almost are. We have two series remaining here in Group B. We have Clem versus Bunny to kick things off, and we end the night with Cure versus Stats. So we can get some more Cure action here towards the end. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Always excited to cast some more Bunny. I mean, I'm personally a bit of a Bunny fan. We saw Bunny struggle though yesterday. Oliveira 2-0'd Bunny last night in the first half of the IEM Katowice group stage. And now Bunny, he's going to have to try to redeem himself here against Clem. Clem, who, as we mentioned, has also been improving his TvT alongside Cure and has leveled up quite a bit, I would say, in this matchup. But of course, the meta has shifted, the meta has changed, and we'll see how many Cyclones we make. Show me, papi, show me. Let's go. The Brutal OST is the Brutal OST is like my face. It's like my screenshot. It's beautiful. So good. So good. One of these days, I still have to play Brutal Remastered. Like, I've never... Well, StarCraft Remastered. I got it in release, and I played so much Brutal as a kid, but I never went through the new Remastered campaign. I'd love to. I'd love to relive the childhood memories. But before we get into that, we can get into our series. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Mystery Gaming. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player, the red Terran himself, representing Team Liquid, our DreamHack Atlanta champion, ESL Masters Winter Champion for 2023. It is Clem. Here we go. TvT is upon us, and once again, double gas openers here. Double gas out of Bunny, double gas out of Clem. No one is taking a risk, not on a small map like Oceanborn. If we ever load into Site Delta, for example, or Alcyone, then I expect to see Rax expands sprinkled in. But on some of these smaller maps, it is crazy and risky to open up economically in a TvT, so it is not going to be happening. Not here, not in game one. Not in game number one. We have our SCV scout coming in from Clem. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the Korean Terrans actually avoid SCV scouting. Players like Cure, players like Bunny, Maru, Byun. In TvT, SCV scouting is more of a rarity. But we can see Clem, he just wants to be safe and secure. So he comes in, does confirm the opener, does confirm the double gas. So he's fully aware of what Bunny is up to. Technically, yes, Clem has the safety or the wherewithal to now be aware of what Bunny's doing. Bunny is in the dark, but Bunny is more efficient. That one worker that is scouting for Clem is mining for Bunny, so it does have an economic lead, slight economic lead as a result. Ooh, what are we up to? Reaper comes in. Oh my god. Reaper looking for the SCV, does not come across it. As we do pull back, Clem, meanwhile, coming in with his own scouting worker, going to be trying to tank one of those shots. Gonna try and take it here to Bunny. Goes to the SCV. Oh, will delay the CC on the low ground. Very nicely done. As we do tank a couple of shots here, but it looks like Clem, he has to retreat, has to back off. But the damage he was looking for, he does delay the command center, at least for a couple of seconds. Does delay it. Bunny, meanwhile, counterattacking, at least trying to, does recognize he doesn't want to overextend, as Clem should also be making another Reaper behind this. Actually skipping the Reaper, so Bunny could have kept pushing, but he doesn't know. It's one of those things where you can be aggressive with Reapers, but it's so risky to do so because you don't know what you're running into. We can see that Clem, he skipped his second Reaper, went for a faster reactor into an add-on swap into Cyclone production. So we have reactored Cyclones already. Bunny still not there. Still building up his first reactor because of that second Reaper. Working towards an eventual Cyclone drop. Likewise, Clem should be doing the same. Because of Clem's build, he will have a Cyclone advantage, which is pretty big in TvT. in the early to mid game, it's all about the Cyclones. And we do scout 2 of them already. Denied scouting of the main base. Bunny has a better idea of what's going on, as he's still waiting for that medevac before he can push out. And the question becomes, will Clem have anything back at home to defend? Will they both drop each other at the same time? So we go, we have the first medevac drop here from Bunny. Staying back at home, actually. Okay. We're going to be staying back at home. I mean, it looks like he has recognized that he has a Cyclone deficit, so it looks like he wants to be more defensive. He's waiting here for the army. Meanwhile, Clem, he's up to 4 Cyclones. Bunny just now coming out with his own 2. So 4v4, we have the Reaper as well. And Clem is going to be trading out a Cyclone. 2 Cyclones go down. Big trade there for Bunny. At the same time, we do have a Reaper slipping into the main base. Getting an SCV, getting 2. Getting some damage done, and we get eyes on the 3rd TC of Bunny. Clem now aware of the economic follow-up here. Back at home, going for his own 3rd. A little bit behind that of Bunny's, but it's on the way. And so far, I want to give the edge to Bunny. Again, he was able to out-trade Clem with those Cyclones, but now he's coming out with a drop. Again, Cyclones, it takes seconds. It takes seconds to kill SCVs. And it can be quite terrifying if we get a late reaction. There we go. Bunny does see. Cyclones have been spotted. We're going to get 1 SCV in the main base, and we do force back the army. Good reaction out of Bunny. Behind this, we can see Bunny already working towards his tank production. So he has cut Cyclones at 4. 4 Cyclones for Bunny, then into tank production. Meanwhile, Clem still committed to Cyclones, still no tanks. This is something that both Clem and Cure have been doing quite a lot of, where you commit to Cyclone production up until 10, maybe 12, and then you commit. You push in. Cyclones alongside Ravens. Remember, the disable is being researched. Yes, Bunny will have tanks, that is true, but just like what we saw from Cure, the tanks don't matter if you disable all the tanks. Liberator in the main base, getting 3 SCV kills, trying to drag Bunny out of position. At the same time, drop comes into the natural. Clem forced to pull the boys. A lot of lost mine time. We get into the main base, but it looks like we come out just in time to defend the Raven. Raven takes some hits. Forced to spend its energy. That's a pretty big moment, as the Bunny does escape. But again, Clem, he just finished Interference Matrix, and he just wasted energy on one of those Ravens. So he's not going to be able to break this. Clem, he's transitioning, working towards his 3rd base. It's going to be landing into add-on swaps. And Clem, yeah, is going to be calming things down. And now I want to give the edge to Bunny. Like, Clem, he invested quite a lot into these Cyclones, and he has a fair amount. He's got 10. He has 10 Cyclones here. 3 Ravens, but he wasn't able to really make use of them. And this army, the quality of the army for Bunny is getting better and better, as he's got 2 tanks, soon to be 3. So he will have a substantial tank lead. Getting his 3rd base. Clem is moving out. He still has potential. His tank's looking a bit exposed. We can still disable them. Drop into the main is denied. Clem rotating around. There are 3 tanks on the low ground. Scan does reveal them.
Research complete.
Clem is aware. You see him moving out with his Ravens. Looks like he's going for auto-start harass. He's not trying to break the base. It looks like he realizes he cannot break this position. Cyclone is here though. Gets a couple of auto turrets. He will kill 3 SCVs. Oh, pushes further in, and he's going to be punished. Losing a Raven. Does lose a Raven. Cyclone into the main base. Getting a couple of SCVs. Trying to at least. We got 1. Ooh, 1 extra worker goes down for a Cyclone. Not worth it there for Clem. And Bunny's holding. He's holding quite nicely here. Meanwhile, Clem back at home has been happily making workers. Bunny has been bleeding out a couple of SCVs here and there. Clem hasn't. So Clem has an economic lead. But he's pushing. Oh, the tanks! Don't get caught out. We catch even more Cyclones. And we've got 5 tanks to the 2 of Clem. See Clem being proactive. Because Clem has less tanks, like, he needs to be proactive with this army and he needs to engage early on. He cannot lie back at home and allow Bunny to get within range and lay siege upon his 3rd or his natural. So Clem's trying to be active. Does spot the double drop towards the left. Clem, he rotates over. 4th CC on the way. Getting into 2-2 upgrades, combat shields, rest of our upgrades. As both armies scan each other. Bunny coming with some drops. Cyclones are in position. The medevac! One full medevac goes down, and we get a 2nd medevac as well. Big pick off there by Clem. Very nicely done. He will lose the Cyclones, but I mean, that's a good trade if I've ever seen one. Again, the Cyclones, they kind of run out of value as the time goes on, as the game goes on. They're not really useful here in the main fight, so catching 2 medevacs, big plays. Suddenly, Bunny stuck back at home. Clem has map control. Clem landing his 4th base on location, and he's in position to deny the 4th of Bunny. 4th base on the way. Clem, he can stim in. Bunny not too far away though. Yeah, he's in position. Will defend his 4th. Okay, good movement out of Bunny. Clem reinforcing. Looking at our unit stab here, Clem still behind in those tanks, but only slightly. 6 to 8. Bunny does have a slight Raven lead, which is going to be important. But the Marine count heavily in favor of Clem. That's really his big advantage, is his Marines. That's a lot of Marines! How many? 74. Oh, he had 69 when I was checking earlier. 74 Marines. Bunny stepping forward. Sieging up his tanks, forcing back the Terran. Forcing back Clem. We can see behind this Clem working towards double starport into Viking, I imagine into Liberators. Big anti-armor missile, oh my god! Covering so many Marines. Clem, he cannot push in. Rotates around instead. Sieges up his tanks. Gets the counter anti-armor missile on Bunny. Tank shot's going to be going off for both players. A lot of Marines going down. Clem does have the Viking lead. Shuts down the Vikings. Zones away the medevacs. He has the air control. And he's going for a Doom Drop. Bold move. Crazy move. Pulls back with his main army. Going for a drop into the main. Not much here to defend. No turrets whatsoever in the main base or the 3rd. But it's a turret spotting the drop. Forces it back. Bunny, he does hold. And both armies have maxed out. Now with these maxed out armies, what are we working with exactly? Once again, we do have a Marine lead here for Clem. Bunny, double the tank count. Oh my, how many tanks does he have? Jesus, 13 to 6. Double the tank count here for Bunny. We're up to 8 now, thank you. I'm looking for another way in. Bunny a bit out of position here. We're going for the 4th. For the 4th, Bunny has to respond. Does get here in time. Takes down the Ravens. Sable does go off with Bunny. He does hold on to this position. At the same time, Clem does have another force on the right, but there's a tank sieged up. And Bunny, he's keeping up here. Does disable those tanks. Pushes on forward. Cleans up the tanks of Clem. Clem's being forced further and further back. Do bleed out some of these Vikings. At the same time, Clem pushes in into tank range. Bunny winning on both fronts, and you can see Clem plummet 50 supply. Oof. Both armies were maxed, no longer. Bunny still maxed out, keeps on pushing. Clem is in a bit of trouble. He is in trouble here. Again, as we mentioned, mass tank does scale better into the mid game, in towards the late game as well. We catch more tanks. 2 more go down. We have 12-3. Oh my god. 4 times the tanks here for Bunny. Leapfrogging forward. It gets us up with the CC as well. Just perpetually ahead here in tanks. We see Clem going for a massive counterattack instead. Gets a free tank. Goes for the CC. But Bunny, there's nothing slowing him down. There's nothing to stop him. The defensive tanks fall. The third base is being broken. So is the third of Bunny, to be fair. But this is just a double drop, and we have reinforcements back at him to defend. Bunny will survive. He even saves the CC. Does repair it. Meanwhile, Bunny, he just cuts Clem off from his 4th base. It's being shelled away. Our planetary goes down. Bunny loses 1 base. Clem loses 2. And Bunny is still maxed out. The Liberators have it right. We have freedom. We do have some freedom. Hot pick up there from Bunny. Very nice moves. From our blue Terran. Going to be sieging up. We still on forward as well. Clem trying to engage with those tanks. Unable to though. Again, the Liberators are nice, but I don't know if they're going to be enough. Ooh, oh my god. Massive tank shots go off. Bunny overextending. Has to be careful. Clem still has a 3rd base up and running. Is heavily oversaturated though. Clem doing what he can, bleeding out another tank. It's going to be a kill on that CC. Bunny just trying to starve Clem out. Denying these bases, focusing down 2 more libs. And Bunny, he's going for the final mining base. He's going for the planetary. Clem is distracted. He doesn't see. He's out of position. Clem, he's racing on over. This planetary is so exposed. Okay, we still on forward. We dive on top of the tanks. Oh, we don't quite. We get 1. We get 2. We get both tanks. We get the planetary. Clem knocked down to 2 bases. Barely any mining. Nothing here in the main base. Landing here at the 3rd, at the 4th location. Desperation move here from Clem. Migrating over towards these southern bases. He's still trying to hold his own. It's Bunny rotating around. Again, maxed out. Range up does rock up here at the soon-to-be planetary. Once it morphs in, yeah, we can defend. We'll hold. Yeah, 1 tank is all we need. We get a couple of SCVs, but Bunny, he can afford to lose some workers. Not the biggest of losses. Bunny, he still has those Ravens alive, by the way. Still has up to 4 Ravens. It rotates around, it gets onto the orbital, and Clem cannot defend. Ooh, that is going to be a kill. You see Clem just perpetually stuck at home. I mean, it's impressive what he's able to do with these drops. Has been getting some damage done. Bunny, I just rotates back around. All he has to do is make sure that Clem doesn't get a 4th base. Pushing into a tank line is always difficult, even if you have tank lead. That's a lot of tanks for Clem. He's been just making 2 tanks at a time, up to 11 tanks. Slowly building it back up. There's 2 factories going ham. Can we recover? Can we max out? I think we can. Obviously, Bunny has a bank. So Bunny, he can trade, he can fight, he can take a bad fight even and just remax. Clem can't. Clem, anything he makes, he's just spending immediately on more tanks and Vikings. So Clem, he's attempting to stabilize, and he almost has maxed. And he will have a chance, definitely. The problem here is that Clem can't push out. So Bunny should be doing this. He should be mass expanding. Just taking more bases, taking the entire map under his control. Because Clem is turtling, I don't think we can break him, to be honest. I think the best move for Bunny here is either push in towards a 4th or wait for Clem to try to take a 5th. That's going to be the play here for Bunny. Just mass expand and wait for Clem to move out. Because eventually Clem will move out to expand. And that's the moment the Bunny needs. As Clem, he has remaxed here. Getting up to 200 supply. Marine drop is moving out. Bunny has to be careful. Clem is a bit of a faster play, but yo, we're going for a June drop into the natural. So Clem, though, has some units in position. Has a couple of turrets. We're going in! We did go for the drop. Tank's going to be unloading, but nah, Clem, he should be able to deal with this. Losing his Marines. We may get on top of some Liberators as well. But Clem will hold at the same time. Bunny pushing in. Bold move here from Bunny. Massive stable here on the tanks. Tanks are going down. Bunny, he barely breaks through. Oh, but alas, he cannot get onto the 4th base. And the Vikings. Oh my god. The Vikings going ham here, taking down Ravens. Very efficient trade by Clem. And Bunny is burning through his bank. He needs gases. Uh-oh. He needs to saturate these gases here towards the top right. He needs more gases towards the right-hand side as well. Bunny still has yet to take these bases. Clem is back in this. Like, again, Bunny, he has a 2k gas bank, but nothing in minerals. Clem catching some tanks. Ooh. Gets a medevac even. Not quite the tanks. Again, the mass Viking doing so well for him. 14 Vikings. Liberators pushing forward. Clem, and now in the midst of taking a 5th base. Fifth base is being taken. Clem will establish it. Ooh, 5 SCVs go down. Bunny not mining. He needs this base. And another. Like I mentioned before, we need to be double expanding. We need to take the entire map. He's going to be expanding here towards the bottom left. I wasn't expecting this base, but sure. Does need a mine from it. There we go. So he's getting oversaturated. Needs... Sorry, doesn't need gases. I don't know why I was mentioning that. Needs minerals. I know I was saying that he has an abundance of gases and pointing out he doesn't have any. It's early in the morning, okay? I meant to say he just needs to expand. I don't know where my brain was going. Regardless, Clem is in this. Took a good fight earlier, can take another. Doesn't need to prioritize gases. Does need minerals though. Just to clarify. Going back into Viking production, how many Vikings are we up to? 17! Ooh, comparable Viking counts. Upgrades are comparable as well. +1 ship weapons quite late here for Clem. It's late, but I don't blame him just because of this game. Just because like it has been a really rough road here for Clem. He hasn't had the spare resources for upgrades. So Bunny has the upgrade lead. But it's going to be about the engage. Here we go. Clem pushing through the center. Both armies keeping up with each other. We're going for the turrets. Fusion core on the way here for Bunny. Basically, Bunny refining his army, getting into tank, eventually lib, tank Viking lib. So in the mid game, it's all about the tanks. In the late game, it's all about the air control. It's all about the Viking lib, essentially. Into eventually BC in the very late game. Tanks are sieging. Vikings push in. Liberator has siege. And we are committing big anti-armor here on Clem. And Bunny, he takes a fight. Shuts down the Vikings. Shuts down the Liberator as well. Oh, at the same time, Clem, he snuck out with the triple drop. With the Doom drop. Gets a CC. Gets a base. Goes into the main base. Came with the production. Clem, he breaks free. And Bunny, ooh, does pull back home. Has to reposition. Bunny now has +2 ship weapons. The Marines are cleaned up. At this point, it's all about the positional battle. Positional play here. Natural base being lifted, landed as a 6th. 6th base is on the way for Clem. Meanwhile, Liberator harassed here, denying mining at these fringe bases. Bunny's on the way. Now, what's scary here is that Bunny, he can deal with this lib, and then he can keep pushing and deal with this base. There's 3 tanks and 1 lib to defend. In this moment, Clem, I was going to say he should counterattack and try to hit this base, but it looks like he's going to be responding. Oh, he has to make a decision. Do we come back home? We will. But it's going to be too late. The base will fall. Yeah, Clem out of position. Didn't know where the army was. It's going to be a kill in the orbital. By the time Clem gets here, Bunny can retreat. He does engage with those Vikings. Vikings going to be going ham. Again, in favor of Clem. Clem, he's up to 23 Vikings against the 13 of Bunny. Bunny has to back off. Plus 3 ship weapons on the way for Bunny. Making 7 Vikings at a time. Bunny going to be expanding, taking another base. Clem just lost one. 6th base has been taken. Bunny now knows. He had no idea earlier. Didn't know the base was operational. The tanks! No! Tanks are getting caught out. Who catches who? Oh, 1 tank goes down. Marines 8 dive on top of the tanks. Boys are being pulled. Vikings once again, they will engage big anti-armor missile here on Clem. But he has the numbers on his side. And he will still take the fight. Clem, he wins the battle in the air. Still up in Vikings. Oh, Bunny cannot take this fight. And he does engage prematurely. At the same time, though, Clem did bleed out a lot of tanks. Bled out a lot of units. Oh, even here. We'll try to maintain this position. Taking down another tank. Bunny remaxing. Again, Bunny, he has the better economy. Does they come in? They get a Viking. You barely get another Viking. Does have a new fresh mining base, that is true. But he's broke. Like, he still needs more minerals, more resources. And the problem is that this is the final base, essentially. Unless Clem can somehow take this northern base. If Clem can get this up and running, then he can still sustain himself. Viking harass, bottom left. Oh, he's within range. I thought that was a Liberator. It was a Viking. Clem still with the Viking lead. That was pushed forward. Still only with +1 ship weapons. Oh, SCVs are going down. A big drop here, and just like that, Clem, he has no economy, no mining. His final mining base goes down. Big pick up there by Bunny. And Clem, he's got half a base left. Half a base remaining. No mining whatsoever because of that Liberator. And Bunny has done it. It wasn't easy. I mean, Bunny, he took a massive lead earlier. He was ahead in this game. And we saw Clem claw his way back in. Clem, he was down like 80 supply. Like it was like the supply disparity was insane, but he was able to turtle. He was able to turtle up, stabilize on 3 bases, get a 4th, get a 5th, eventually get a 6th base as well. Very impressive that Clem was able to turtle up until that point, but the advantage of Bunny was still persisting throughout it. That map control, the bases, the economy here, all in favor of Bunny. And he was able to leverage that into this, into what should be a win. Clem going for a counterattack, catching a base, getting a planetary, but this is the last mining here that Clem has. And it's about to go down. Bunny's also losing a planetary, but Bunny has the center base, he has top right, like Bunny can still freely expand. He still has center left as well. So much more mining available. I mean, Clem is going for that base, but Bunny's coming back. He's coming back. He wants to collapse on this position. Big tank shots going off. The Bunny's coming. He's on the way. The final stand here of Clem. Big disables here on the tanks. We collapse in the position. The Marines, the boys are being pulled. The tanks get swallowed up. GG gets called, and Bunny will take game number 1. GG. Oh, what a game 1 as well. Again, Bunny was able to take a massive lead early on. He was in the driver's seat for so much of this game, but Clem refused to die. And again, the power of defensive tanks and liberators as well. Clem, he rushed into libs, he rushed into air control, into mass Viking, and Clem was able to survive, able to hold on, eventually stabilize, or in a way stabilize, eventually hold on to his bases, mass expand. He was able to hold on, but was never able to really gain control back from Bunny, as Bunny was able to just maintain that. Barely, is what I should say. Barely. Couple too many bad fights and a couple more mistakes from Bunny, and that would have cost him the game, which would have been an insane comeback from Clem. Would have been crazy. Regardless, GG, well played. What a game 1, and I'm ready to sink my teeth into game number 2. Now, Koreans have a reputation, especially some of the more aggressive Koreans like Maru. Even Cure has been doing this recently, where after after a tense, long macro game, especially in a TvT, they are more than willing to proxy. We're going to be getting ready for game number 2. Bunny, now with the lead in this series, do we proxy racks? We'll find out. We'll see. Let's go. Let us go. So loading into that second game. Easy by Cyril. Cyril isn't here. It's a TvT pack. Terran versus Terran. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have our South Korean Terran player. The blue Terran representing Mystery Gaming. Leading the series 1-0. It is Bunny. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player representing Team Liquid. Down in this series, he has to win here and now to force the ace match. It is Clem. Let's go. Let's go. Terran OP, true. TvT, unwinnable. Unwinnable, Bobby. As Bunny does not move out with his SCV, he does not go for a proxy, is going for something a lot more standard here. Likewise, if you remember, winding it back to game number 1, Clem also went for an early SCV scout to get a read on what was going on. My apologies, I assumed this was a scout, but it is not. Bunny is going for a double gas opener, Clem going for a 2 racks, going for a proxy second racks here. Now, this is a little bit unfortunate for Clem. We've been in this position before. We casted a TvT yesterday. With Clem, actually. With Clem. We had a very similar situation. I think it was Clem versus Oliveira, where Clem was praying for an economic opener, but it isn't. Double gas means faster factory, means faster Hellion or even Cyclone production. This 2-racks Reaper here ideally is designed to come in and kill some workers, delay the CC, maybe even delay the factory and out-trade your opponent. Sorry, it was Cure. It was Cure who was able to use this to great success and win against Bunny. It was actually, we casted Cure versus Bunny. And Cure, he snowballed out of control. We'll see if Clem can do the same. See if Clem can replicate that success. Reapers are on the way. Factory in production. Bunny is going to be scouting with this Reaper at least the third base location, looking for a proxy. Sees that there is none. He's going a little bit further. He does come across the ranks. Good scout here from Bunny. Does see, is aware. Because of the high ground, Clem doesn't know he got scouted. And Bunny is going to be able to chill out back at home. CC on the high ground. We should be getting a Hellion. Yep, Hellion is on the way. It's faster than the Cyclone. Ooh, but Bunny does get surrounded. Oh! And he'll be losing one of his Reapers. Meanwhile, gets the Reaper of Clem. Trading 1-for-1, a better trade for Bunny. Clem bleeding out a Reaper, not a good start. And he's transitioning. He is transitioning back at home. Factory is on the way. He's trying to get out of this. Hellion has arrived. Bunny has to be careful to overextend. Cyclone in production. Not the best positioning there from Bunny. Wasn't quite on the high ground. Reapers take it in. Step into the main base to delay the CC. Good damage done here by Clem. And Clem, he is trapped. Does trade 1-for-1 once again, but will lose this Reaper. Or should lose this Reaper. Yeah, the Cyclone has arrived. Now, at least he disrupted some of the production here, and looking at the resources lost, he was able to kill one SCV. I thought he killed a little bit more than that, so not the best start here for Clem. Bunny, he defends, he gets his base up and running. He will have the economic lead as Clem is still building up his own CC. And Bunny following this up with a Cyclone drop. Now, as scary as Cyclone drops can be, Clem should have enough at home to defend. Reactor on that factory, making 2 Cyclones at a time. By the time Bunny gets across the map, Clem should have enough to defend. Hopefully Bunny doesn't lose too much here in the process. Here we go. Cyclone drop moving out. Clem gonna be scouting with the racks. Let's go. Checking, just focusing on Cyclone production. Drop is coming in. Clem, he sees it ahead of time thanks to his Overlord or his floating racks. Let's go. And it looks like, yeah, he will force Bunny the hell out of there. Clem wants to try to chase this down. Oh. Does try to intercept. Bunny, will he escape? No! Does get locked on. We'll have to unload and the medevac will fall. Ay. Bunny, big loss there for him. Behind this, going straight for the third TC. Third TC is on the way. Getting Cyclones, getting into Raven production. Likewise, so is Clem. Not too far behind with his own third TC. It's on the way. Just now starting as Bunny's is finishing. At least it is on the way here. As Clem is going for his drop. Does defend back at home. Working towards Stim, so it is going to be Biotank here from Clem. Bunny likewise going Biotank as well. No mech. We spoke about this earlier, but you know, mech is typically more of a stylistic choice here in TvT. We've seen players like TY, Gumiho, Ryung. They're typically the players that embrace mech in this matchup. Not so much Bunny and Clem. As we are moving out. So once again we have this interesting dynamic where Bunny has gone for faster tank production, which is exactly what he did in game 1, and Bunny wasn't punished. Like, Clem wasn't able to make use of these Cyclones, if you remember, on Oceanborn. He was stuck with like 10 Cyclones and couldn't do anything with them. He did catch some drops, if you remember. That was like the most he was able to accomplish. He caught 2 full medevacs. Ooh, Raven's coming in for some harass. which means they are not at home to defend. SCVs are going down. A lot of damage being dealt. Ay, ay, ay. We got 7 SCV kills, 8 SCVs. Gonna get even more. 9 SCVs go down. And Clem, he does turn back with at least his drop. Just like that, Bunny does take an economic lead. Should soon be landing his third base. Clem taking his own. Is going to be taking his own here. Bunny shouldn't be too far behind him. It's going to be difficult just because of these Ravens. Remember, they can disable, and Bunny, Clem can try to dive on this, as Stim isn't done. So Bunny's slowly leapfrogging forward. It gets within range. And coming back in with his drops. There we go. Clem is going to back off, which means Bunny, he will expand. Raven harass and Cyclone drop into the main base. While Bunny does avoid the Cyclones of Clem. And there's nothing to defend. The main base completely exposed. SCVs are going down. Massive damage here from Clem. At the same time, Cyclones have been spotted. 12 SCVs. We get 12 workers in the main base. We try to collapse on this army, but Clem, he escapes with everything. Does get away with those Ravens and Cyclones. At the same time, trying to catch some reinforcements. Meanwhile, Bunny going for his own drop. Ooh, with tanks. Bold move here. Tanks, they do siege up. Boys are being pulled. How much damage can we get? Good volleys. Massive volleys here. 13 SCVs go down. But Clem still maintains his worker lead because of that faster third base. Bunny still behind. And he did throw away 2 tanks. Wait. Oh. And with that, Bunny, he does lose a lot of his tank lead. He does, it's just straight up. He does lose his tank lead in the end. Clem is pushing. Clem now with a larger army. Bunny trying to punish that drop, wasn't able to. Ooh. Clem has to be careful though. Again, we do have the high ground. Bunny does have the defense advantage. Tanks are sieging up, and how many tanks do we have? 4. 4 tanks for Bunny. Ravens breaking forward. He is up in Ravens. Oh, we're going for a Doom drop instead. The scan does reveal it. Does reveal the Doom drop. Clem, he does unload just outside of the range of that scan, which means Bunny, he's out of position. He's looking for the drop. Okay, he does pull back. Does pull back. Yeah, big disables here on the tanks. We still on forward. We focus down the tanks. 1 goes down. Good anti-armor missile. Clem, he barely has enough. He has a better game. No, he's being forced back. Again, the counter disables of the tanks of Clem. Bunny, he is holding, and he does get on top of the tanks. Yeah, they all go down. Big cleanup there by Bunny. Very close defense. You can see how low these tanks got, but they survived. And Bunny holds. Bunny holds on. Clem is forced back. Now you can see Clem plummet in supply. That is true. Bunny has a supply lead, but Clem is up in SCVs. He's up in economy, up in workers. That means that Clem, he will be able to remax faster. Bunny still has to he still has to build up his worker count. So Clem is going to be able to catch back up. Not going to take him too long. 4th base on the way. Do we have a 4th CC here? We do not for Bunny. No 4th base whatsoever. We are pushing. We are quite committed. Bunny may have seen the 4th just barely. He does confirm the 4th base. Is aware. Bunny is moving out. Bunny does have the supply lead. But again, Bunny does not have a 4th CC. He needs to break a base. He needs to break a base, otherwise Clem is going to get out of control. disables one of the tanks. And with the higher marine count, he's going to be able to hold on. Another tank goes down though. Bunny running out of marines. Runs out of marines, runs out of pushing power, but he does get into the fourth base. No shot. Who needs a fourth when you just kill your opponents? That was the big advantage that Clem had. No longer. No longer has a fourth base now starting up here for Bunny. Comes in with the double drop, pulling Clem apart. Heading into the main base as well. Bunny rotating over towards the third. Trying to come in with a second attack. It looks like Bunny is being cleaned up at the same time he's committing. And big blows up here on the Marines. Tanks repositioning. We are within range of the CC. Not the best anti-armor missile there from Bunny, but regardless, he's containing Clem here to 2 bases. Denying that third. Clem as a response, Doom Drop. He knows he cannot break the main army. Bunny also getting into the main. Gets back into the main base, gets into the Liberator. Liberator does fall. Eventually, Bunny's going to be cleaned up at the same time. Ooh, Bunny has to be careful to overextend. Clem comes in across the map. Even in upgrades. Yeah, Clem being dragged into tank fire. His force pack did kill more workers to kill 12 LCVs. But Clem, he's oversaturated. He's stuck on 2 bases. Bunny about to expand, about to take a 4th base as well. We gotta go. The economy of Clem not looking too hot right now. But he has a massive army. We're up to 9 tanks. 46 Marines. Ahead in tanks, ahead in Marines. I believe ahead in Vikings. No, sorry, even in Vikings as well. Neither player has any Ravens. So we're killed earlier. No spellcasters, no finesse. It's all about the positional play. Clem looking for a way in. Bunny catching a couple of transferring workers or long distance mining workers. And pulling back. Pushing his way in. Oh my god. He is going to be cleaned up though. Did overextend. 4th base has been spotted. Clem is going for it. Going for the 4th. Bunny out of position. This is a big moment. Clem, he doesn't just get the 4th base, he also gets up the ramp. Clem is on even footing. That's going to be a kill on the 4th. Again, Bunny late to react, or no reaction. At the same time, we're going into the 3rd. Tanks are in position. Boys are being pulled. A lot of friendly fire. Only 4 SVs go down. That was a big moment there. Them killing that base. Does pull back. Again, this is still very tense. On an even economy. For the most part. Them still with the supply lead. I think this is a combat shield game. Oh, is it? It is. Oh, I remember the end of this. True. Bunny, no combat shields. Oh god, yeah. I remember they spoke about it. They briefly showed this on the mainstream. They didn't show game 1 and game 2, but on the mainstream they showed game 3. Not like this. Yeah, I was watching from the crowd. Stimming on forward. Collapse on this. Takes down both those tanks. Good move here out of Bunny. Takes down tanks. Does fall back. But yeah, there's no combat shields here from Bunny. And considering how close this is, that's insane. Oh my god. You see Bunny catching a couple of Marines here in the center of the map. Tank count in favor of Clem. Clem establishing his fourth, picking up his main, getting the fourth that way, maintaining his economy. Bunny behind this, oh, hasn't quite done the same. Still stuck on 3 bases. Bunny falling behind in the economy, despite his higher worker count. Going for a Doom job. Moving out on the right-hand side. Heading out towards that main base. Minimal towers here, by the way, for Clem. Only has the one. But he does get spotted. Forceful unload. Medevac goes down. We don't quite get a tank. Don't quite get it here. This Bunny is being forced back. Yeah, Bunny does technically have the supply lead, going for a split push, has an army on the right, moving out towards the left, once again going for the Doom drop. These medevacs are so low though. Oh my god, very risky move here out of Bunny. Trying to pull away the attention of Clem. Medevac going him. Oh, sorry, turret going him. Doesn't quite get any medevacs. We do claim the production. We get into the main base. Sword move here out of Bunny. At the same time, doesn't find a way in towards the left-hand side. But he takes down some of these Raxes. Ooh, Marines did overextend. A big chunk of them go down. At the same time, Bunny catches some tanks. Big moment here. 3 tanks go down. The Vikings, they land as well. And can we clean all this up? Oh my god, Bunny! You got what, 6 tanks? Jesus. Shuts down the tanks here in the center. Takes down, what, 3, 4 axes in the main. We even up the tank count. Clem ahead in Marines. Ahead in Vikings. Base getting up and running here for Bunny. Getting another Rax. Even laying siege upon the mineral line from the high ground. SCVs are going down. Bunny gets his own 4th base up and running as well. Did pick up and land his main. And picking up and landing is natural as well. Meanwhile, Clem heavily supplied locked here, losing some of those deepers. Bunny mustering up his army on the right-hand side. He wants to collapse on this 3rd. Does want that 3rd base. Actually going to be reinforcing with some medevacs. Yeah, these tanks, they're going to be going down. The carpet bombing here on these tanks. 1, 2 tanks going to be going down. It looks like, can we break this position? Boys are being pulled. The CC, it's so low. 1 more volley. The repairs are too good, and Clem holds. He holds on. There's no Marines here. There's no way to support the tanks, and we will clean this up. Clem taking a massive supply lead, cleans up the tanks, pushes on forward. He breaks free. Oh god. Still has to respect the tanks. Has to respect them. Does hold on to this 4th base. Still has his Vikings. Picks up. Ready to drop on the tanks. Oof. Does get 1. Does get barely not the 2nd tank. It's Bunny desperately expanding here towards the north. Bunny barely with a better economy, but he has so much to recover from. He's down to 3 tanks compared to the 11 of Clem. Clem clawing his way back in once again. Very similar to game 1, for example, where game 1, Clem just refused to die for so long and almost bounced back. This time here, he is bouncing back. Like he's goes for a double drop towards the left. Nothing quite in position to defend. Ooh, does catch a whole mineral line. SCVs are going down. 13 SCVs. Pick up, head into the main. Ooh, guard turrets. Full medevac goes down, but so far it has been worth it. Crippling the economy. As Clem has landed another base. Lib comes in. Clem just with the mass harassment here. Bringing Bunny down to 38 SCVs. Scanning, trying to get an eye on the economy. On the army positioning. Vikings, they come in. They shut down the medevac. Not bad pickups here by Bunny. We scan, we get eyes on the fresh mining base of Clem as well. Oh, not a good feeling here for Bunny as he's catching back up in supply, but Clemmy does come across this fourth base. The fifth even. Yeah, Bunny out of position. No tanks here with inside. The base is going to go down. The SCVs as well. There's no escaping. There's no way out. Again, Bunny's just caught. He's just spread too thin. Doesn't have the supply to defend. Didn't have the vision. It's going to be 19 dead SCVs. Bunny down to 23 workers. Barely a base mining essentially for Bunny. And we're sending it. We see the army, we know we cannot fight this, we send it across the map instead to cause some more chaos. You have a lot of tanks here to defend on the right hand side, but it looks like we will get a kill on this orbital. Third base goes down. Bunny's team going forward. We could try to camp the production. There are tanks on the high ground. Oof. Yeah, we cannot push in. Big volleys there on Bunny. Scans looking for another base. Gets another tank, but he's taking so many shots to the face. So many tank shots. Clem, he's turning back around. Late reaction out of Clem is what I will say. But Bunny is all in. He's completely all in at this point. Denies 2 bases, which is good. But this is all we have left. This is all we do have left. Oh, Bunny, again, trying to engage. Does have a lib. Does force Clem back. And tanks are cheating. Bunny, he can miss. He'll be losing all of his Marines. And Bunny was so close in this game. Clem once again going for another backstab, going for another Marine run by. Getting more SCVs. We barely had an economy to begin with. We're down to 19 workers. The base goes down. GG gets called, and Clem ties up the series 1-1. GG. Oh my god. This is an insane TvT. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match, and again, as was pointed out in the chat, if you weren't watching live, essentially what happened, during the IEM Katowice broadcast, during the main event, I did mention that here, as we're going over the replays, we are avoiding the games that were played on the mainstream. We're avoiding the games that were casted on the mainstream. But because the mainstream was a little bit ahead of schedule, every now and then they would poke their head into a series. They wouldn't commit, but like every now and then they'd have a look at what was happening on the side streams, on the B stream and C stream, and they would stick around for a little bit. Maybe they would finish covering a game if they had the time for it. Sometimes they would just tune in for like a couple of minutes and then tune out. And this was one of those games that was featured on the mainstream, basically the last like 5 minutes of that game. They tuned into the last 5 minutes, and everyone saw that, yes, Bunny did forget combat shields. That was a big moment, and everyone came to the conclusion, and of course we should as well, that Bunny, if he hadn't forgotten combat shields, considering how long that game went, considering how close it was, considering how many fights were involving Marines as well, and how many tank shots were going off. And again, it's one of those things where combat shields would have impacted that game quite heavily. And there's a world out there where Bunny 2-0s, right? Bunny was already leading the series. There's a world out there where he 2-0s Clem here and now. If only he hadn't forgotten that upgrade. So that's a pretty big blunder there by Bunny, a pretty big misstep, unfortunately. I'm sure he was told after the series and after the fact, maybe after the tournament. It isn't typically something that you do want to bring up to a player, like when they're competing, because you don't want to throw them off. You don't want to like make them smudge or anything. Again, I obviously Bunny didn't realize it during the game, and probably not getting into game 2 either. But yeah, GG, well played. With that, Clem does tie things up 1-1, and now we're getting into the ace match, getting into game number 3. Let's go. Just catching up in the chat. Bunny must have been so tunnel vision. I mean, I don't blame him, right? Like, considering how this series has played out so far, if you were here for game 1 and now game 2, it's been really intense. It's been a very intense series. It's been very close, especially after Oceanborn, where Bunny was like winning and so far ahead, and Clem was clawing his way back in. I'm sure this is just a very tense situation, a very tense series, and I'm sure Bunny, like, again, like, is hyper fixated and hyper focused and probably stressed out in this series. And yeah, it can be easy to have something like that slip your mind and just forget about, which is unfortunate. And he was playing really well. Like, that's how crazy it is, right? Like, the game was so incredibly close, and of course Bunny had his certain advantages despite that upgrade disadvantage. Crazy, Bunny, crazy. Regardless, GG, well played. We're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game number 3. Let's go. But yeah, at the time the mainstream, they did dip into the end of game 2. I don't think they touched game 3, or maybe they got into it a little bit. But that's why we're covering it here and now. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have our French Terran player, our ESL Masters Winter Champion, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Mystery Gaming. Ooh, being forced into the ace match, unfortunately forgetting combat shields in the last game after a very long, brutal game. Hopefully we can tighten things up here in the ace match. It is Bunny. Here we go. Fun fact, Bunny has pretty good English. He used to stream, I think he streams every now and then on Twitch, but he used to stream more often, and he's got pretty good English. Especially, you know, compared to some of the other Korean Terrans out there, or Korean players out there in general. It's pretty good. I think I would put him up there alongside, maybe not as good as Stats' as English. I know obviously Solo has the best English. I think Stats would have the second best English, and just under them maybe Bunny and Shin and Hero. I think maybe Bunny is slightly higher English than Hero and Shin. I think. Maybe. But does interact from time to time to his chat when he did stream. Here we go. Once again, every game in this series, double gas opener out of Bunny, double gas out of Clem. This time Clem not risking it with a proxy. No proxy racks out of our red Terran player. That is how game 2 started. Started with the proxy 2 racks. Bunny was able to defend. Able to shut it down. We will be settling into game 3. And it's been very back and forth so far. In general, Bunny has been looking to be more in form in this series. Even the game that Clem won was slightly because of the mistakes here of Bunny. But likewise, over the course of the series, can Clem tighten up his own early game as well? I feel like his early game has been what's been lacking a little bit here. What's been faltering. As the Reapers are going to be clashing. Bunny being forced back. As Clem does come out on top in this trade. Bunny does have to respect that Reaper will retreat. Behind this, we're getting into Cyclone production. As to be expected. Should be getting into the reactor here on the Raxus, into an add-on swap, into drop play. Just the new standard here in our modern TvT in the new patch. Do mention, there it is, the reactors are on the way. Clem going to be slipping into that natural base. He wants the SCV, he will not get it. Good defense here from Bunny, does kill one of those Reapers, saves his own as well. Very nicely done. As Bunny will chase Clem back. Ooh, barely saving that Reaper as well, once again. So a good start here by Bunny, a better start for Bunny. Clem with a slight deficit. Losing the Reaper isn't the biggest of deals, but again, he was hoping to get some value for it as he's being forced back, and we are getting into our 2-base saturation. Natural bases are finishing up for both players. Clem has to reposition his zone, so it's going to be a little bit later. Does lift and land. There's Yad on top. Cyclone production well underway for both players, and we are settling into Cyclone versus Cyclone. Let's go. First drop is moving out for Bunny. Drop is moving out for Clem. The Medivacs, I believe, will miss each other, or will they scout each other? Up. It's going to be close, and they barely do get a glimpse of each other. We just see Bunny react. He does react to the drop. He's pulling back home. Meanwhile, Clem, he commits. And how much damage does Clem get? Cyclones, they have arrived. One SCV goes down. We're going for the Medivac, and it will escape. Again, Bunny unfortunately dropping on the right-hand side. Wasn't able to chase Clem down, but he wants to. He's going for the intercept. He's trying to cut Clem off. Clem, he boosts in. Bunny, he does get eyes on the Medivac, and he wants it. He will not get it. Oh. Yes, Clem, he does get into the dead zone, into the dead space. Out of range of those Cyclones, coming in with his own. And Bunny has to be careful not to overextend. Clem, he's going for it. Medivac does go down. Good juggling here out of Bunny, but alas, he will lose the Medivac, lose the Cyclones, and Bunny, he did overextend. The Raven under fire. Autotar coming in clutch. A very shaky trade there from both players. We do pick up another Cyclone. Bunny barely coming out on top. Both players lost their Medivacs. Both players lost 4 of their Cyclones. At the same time, Reaper slips into the main base. CC is delayed. It does get back up and running. Whew. So a pretty even trade. A pretty even trade when it comes to the Cyclone battle. It was a knife fight, but we trade 4 for 4. Both players lose their Medivacs. Bunny does have a much faster third base. It's almost done. Clem knows that. Clem, his own third, still barely getting up and running. So Bunny will be able to recover when it comes to his economic losses, his dead SCVs. We'll be able to make up for that. Meanwhile, the game will calm down from there. The game will settle down. Cyclone still amassing for both players. 6 on both sides. 6 on both sides. And we'll see where we stop Cyclones. We scan into the main, we get eyes on the third TC. So Bunny has to be feeling pretty good about this, the fact that his base is so much faster than his opponent's. And Bunny knows all he has to do is defend. All he has to do is defend and survive and get away with the better economy. Clem going to be landing his own third CC on location before it's even morphed into an orbital. Aware that he has to try to play catch-up. Likewise, he is in position. Getting up to 4 Ravens. Has an extra Raven over Bunny. He is moving out. is moving out across map. Bunny in positioning on the high ground. Does spot the move out as Bunny had controlled the Zonaga. And Ravens, they're going for some auto tower harass. They're going for the main. SCV does spot them. Big scout there by Bunny. Scan reveals the army. Clem pushing in. Scan also reveals Clem. Both players keeping up with each other. Auto tower burned down. The Ravens are deflected. But they're coming back in. They're waiting out those auto turrets. We do come back in. And the middle line is under fire. Ooh, the tank as well. The tank is going to be focused down. Big pickoffs here by Clem. Killing 5 SCVs. And not losing a single Raven. He still has plenty of energy left. And yeah, he's just going to town. Bunny refusing to rotate just because of these Cyclones. They're just keeping Bunny pinned. They're keeping Bunny pinned here at this third base. And we got 6 SCV kills and a tank. Clem, he's now ahead. He gets ahead economically. Up almost 10 workers, or up 10 workers. Almost 11. Bunny trying to reestablish himself. Rejoining. Behind this bio tank. Again, we're done with Cyclones. We're done with Cyclone production, getting into tanks instead. Now, what I will say, even though Bunny did take a lot of damage, we're on Alkion here. I haven't spoken about the map yet, but the map is very macro-oriented. If you thought it was easy, or if you thought it was difficult to push into 4 bases on Oceanborn, mate, you got nothing coming here. On Alkion, you can take the 4th, you can take the 5th. A very defendable 5-base setup here. Even taking a 6th base thereafter. We could be in for another long one, which I would not be opposed to. It's been a pretty long series already. Very long mid to late game play from both Bunny and Clem. Bunny, he has combat shields, by the way. Just to confirm. Clem also working on his own. Bunny moving out. Gets caught by Marine. Clem, he sees the army, rotates over. Scan does confirm. Bunny at the same time ready for a drop. Unless he will bleed out a Cyclone. Someone for recatch 2. Pick up 2 Cyclones. We back off at the same time. Bunny is going into the main base. There is a turret. There are Marines in position. Clem, he is ready for the drop. So he moves out across the map. Spotted by the Zolnaga. Bunny knows. That's his trigger to move in. As Clem moves out, Bunny moves in. But again, Clem is in position. He denies the drops. Medevacs to force back. Likewise, Bunny doesn't commit on the left. And Clem, he pulls back in the center. So just a lot of posturing, a lot of repositioning between our players. No one committing. As everyone's keeping up with everyone. But Bunny doesn't have the Zonaga anymore. And Clem is actually pushing. Scan does reveal it. Bunny knows. Likewise, Stims in. Bunny moving out towards the left-hand side. Cyclone gets picked up. Bunny, he does come across the base. CC under fire. Clem racing back home. Tanks are out of position. And that's going to be a kill on the base. We drop into the main. Bunny, he finds a way in. He pulls Clem apart. Forcing him back left and right. We're going for the tanks to build. They on siege. A big on siege there from Clem. Likewise, the counter disables. Anti-armor missile here. It looks like Clem, he barely has enough. He breaks through. He has the overwhelming Marine army. Clem, he may have lost the base. He may have lost 15 SCVs, but he has the Marine count to back it up. And Clem is pushing. Bunny, that was a brutal fight. It didn't look too bad initially for Bunny, but he just didn't have the Marine count. And Clem, he moves his way out across the map. He will take down the 3rd. They're gonna get a kill on the orbital. Bunny's still on 3 bases. His economy is still good. But the army is what matters. Clem, double the army supply of his opponents. Gets another disable off. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. Bunny This is his final stand. His Marines go down, his SCVs as well, and Clem, he has done it. He bounces back in this series. Struggling in game 1, even struggling a little bit in game number 2. But here in game 3, he has found his stride. Much more dominant performance, takes down the natural. 40 SCVs go down, and cuts Bunny off from his third, from the planetary. He is going for it. And collapses on the base. Bunny coming in from behind. He wants those tanks. Gets one. Gets a handful of tanks. Gets all of them. But what about the Marines? As Clem, he sims on forward. Makes his way through those Marines. Gets on top of the tank as well. And it's just a numbers game at this point. Bunny, he's down to one mining base. Half a mining base, if that. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Clem for taking the series, for bouncing back, for clawing his way back into this. My condolences to Bunny. We mentioned that he had a solid game 1, and even in game number 2, there's a world where Bunny wins that if only he hadn't forgotten combat shields. I'm curious, once we wrap up with the series, with our next series, once we wrap up with Group B, I'm actually going to have a look at the group. I'm really curious if the score were different, if Bunny had 2-0'd, would he have made it out of the group? Would Clem have not made it out of the group? I'm gonna check later. Oh god, I am curious. Regardless, congratulations here. Congratulations to Clem for taking down Bunny 2-1, and does secure himself in Group B. Meanwhile, we have another series ahead of us here. We have a final best of 3 to end the night, to end the broadcast. It's going to be a Terran versus Protoss, Stats versus Cure.